Well, what up, ladies and gentlemen? So today we're going to be doing Saturn in the sign of Pisces, and what happens when Saturn comes into the sign of Pisces in your horoscope. Well, what is the sign of Pisces? The sign of Pisces is imagination, spirituality, isolation. It's about finding your subconscious mind. This is why it's imagination, your strong imagination. Wherever Pisces is placed, that's where you're going to use your imagination to grab to that thing. If Pisces is in the 9th house of religion and higher learning, your ability to grasp to higher education and religious knowledge will come through your imaginative creativity. You will constantly subconsciously be thinking about religion and God and how everything interconnects with each other, and through that you will find your pleasure through higher learning. If Pisces is in the 4th house, you're going to find within the home, you're going to have this imaginative ability to decorate the home. You're going to have this strong subconscious intuition to relate to home. So this is how you will judge Pisces in any house. Originally, it's a 12th house. 12th house of isolation, 12th house of foreign lands, 12th house of being lost in the other dimension, being lost in your subconscious mind, which is hard to tap into. Then you bring Saturn into this mix. Saturn is what? Saturn is restriction. Saturn is limitation. Saturn is fear. Saturn is an anxiety. Saturn is your discipline, organization skill, hard work. Oh my God, can I get any more pessimistic than that? But, Saturn is your organization skill. Saturn is the one that tells you this is real, this is life, you better get on it or I'm going to kick your ass. So when he comes to the sign of Pisces, which is about imagination and subconscious mind, Saturn is like, what the hell am I doing here? This is not where I belong. I'm not an imaginative guy. I am the real worker. I am the worker in the factory. I am the one who's out there trying to fulfill the needs of the unprivileged. How am I going to do that with imagination? So what happens in Pisces, the person with this placement has a hard time imagining things related to the house where this is happening. Where even in let's say 12th house, Saturn is in Pisces in the 12th house, your imagination will feel blocked. You'll be like, creatively, I'm just not able to deal with those things. Like let's say in the 4th house, if you have Saturn in Pisces, you're going to feel like subconsciously it's very hard for you to relate to home and find peace of mind at home, to find that imaginative ability to make your home a spiritual sanctuary. So it kind of traps you in those things. And especially in the 4th house in Pisces, it can kind of deprive you of your childhood fun, childhood imaginative ability. There's like a child that is going to be, feeling all throughout life like, I'm just not connecting with home. You can put Saturn in 7th house of, spouse and marriage. And here, you're going to have a hard time spiritually connecting with the spouse. Hard time being imaginative and creatively relating to spouse, like being romantic. So Saturn does that. In Pisces, Saturn feels like I am not here to imagine things and work off of that. I'm here to be a realist, So if Saturn, let's say, is sitting in the sign of Pisces and it receives a aspect from Jupiter, then Saturn is receiving help. That, all right, somebody's helping me out with my, this imaginative things that that I'm not used to. And then what happens is this person is able to steadily work for long hours regarding their imaginative ability. So wherever house is placed in, they'll be able to easily overcome that. But Saturn here releases a person of their imaginative trap, of their spiritual trap regarding that house after the age of 38. It releases it quite late. But it releases it. See, Saturn is not a denier of things. He doesn't deny you anything. All it does, it delays things for you. So inside of Pisces, he delays the imaginative ability, the spiritual ability to relate to the things that are not seen in the physical world. So you'll slowly start to relate to that at the age of 38, where before that you'll be like, this whole psychic stuff and this whole, astral body stuff, I'm not, kind of relating to it. But slowly as you grow, And before the age of 38, between your 30 and 38, you start to get into it. You're like, all right, I can start to see, you start to talk to people, you meet people who have experienced some, creative thing, some experience, some esoteric thing, and you start to kind of get a grasp of it slowly. And then after 38, between 38 and 42, you're really like, okay, wow, I get this. I get the subconscious world that is around me. So here Saturn, in a sign of, his neutral friend Jupiter, is really not able to understand that spiritual side of life, because Saturn is originally the 10th and 11th Lord, okay, about work, about networking, and about doing things. But 12th house is a house of isolation, a house of privacy, a house of like bed pleasure, and which is the sign of Pisces. So here Saturn is feel like, I'm just not in my element. I'll try. Of course, everybody has imagination. Even with Saturn in Pisces, a 20-year-old will have an imagination, but they'll just have the struggle to fully get their grasp of what they're trying to do related to the house where this is happening in their horoscope. Now, one thing to understand with Saturn in Pisces is that it is still imagination. Saturn is still forced to live in the house of Jupiter and imagine it. And remember, this is not ruled by Neptune as you think, like it's a polar ruler. No, you want to stick to the principles of the first, foremost basic astrology, that this is the side of Jupiter, the other side of Jupiter, like the other side of Mercury from Gemini and Virgo. One of the sides of Jupiter is that strict religious teacher, and the other side is that peaceful guy in forest who knows about the true meaning of life. And so this is still ruled by Jupiter. So in the house of Jupiter, Saturn has to abide by his rules. So if Jupiter is saying, look, use your imagination in my house. And Saturn is really not that planet, but he still does that. But guess what? Saturn is a Tamasic planet, meaning that it brings fear and an anxiety. So anywhere this Saturn is placed, that's where instead of imagining something positive, Saturn, the natural malefic, will make you fear something, will make you feel an anxiety about, make you feel anxious, and have you make you feel anxious about the things related to those houses. You'll have this anxiety about things will go wrong, and this imagination can really hurt you psychologically. So if you're, no matter even if it's Saturn, can't say Saturn is exalted in Pisces, but no matter what house Saturn is placed in, it doesn't matter if he has his direction strength or not. If there's no positive aspect of Jupiter in this house, or if there is no positive aspect or conjunction with Venus, there will be a lot of fear. There will be a lot of blockage of imagination. Now remember, Einstein had Mercury, Venus, Sun, and Saturn in the sign of Pisces in the 10th house. So why is it that his imagination excelled? Well, think about it first. Saturn is sitting with Venus, exalted Venus in Pisces. Mercury there is again being helped by Venus. In the sign of imagination, the intelligence, the Mercury and Venus, the creativity, are now balancing Saturn out. And Saturn is in Parivartan Yoga with Jupiter, meaning that Jupiter is in the sign of Saturn and Saturn in the sign of Jupiter. So both are interconnecting with each other in Einstein's horoscope. So if you have this and you feel like, oh, well, I can imagine I have Saturn in Pisces, well, look for conjunctions and look for aspects, because again, once my book comes out, Aspects at the Speed of Light, you'll understand how important aspects are in terms of finding out what's happening in that house. It'll be so much fun once you guys see it, because you'll really start to get the grasp of this, planets in your horoscope. So guys, this is my analysis of Saturn in the sign of Pisces. If you're new to my channel, subscribe below. And if you want to know where your Saturn is placed and what conjunction and aspects it's receiving, check out the link below. Check out my books. There's Astrology at the Speed of Light and Conjunctions at the Speed of Light, where you get to find out all the meanings of the conjunction in your horoscopes. And for that, just click on the link below. And when you get my book, I will send you the link to look at your own chart. Just make sure you follow the directions below at the link. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.